Title: The Lurker in the Pines. The wind howled through the towering pines of Eldridge Forest, rattling the skeletal branches above and stirring old tales buried in the hearts of those who had heard them. Among the teenagers of the nearby town of Maplewood, one stood out with an insatiable urge for adventure. Emma, the bravest of her friends. An intrepid spirit, she dismissed the nighttime stories of a creature that inhabited the woods as nothing more than folklore designed to frighten the young at heart. One autumn evening, with Halloween drawing near, Emma rallied her friends. "Let's go camping in the woods," she said with a wild glint in her eye. "I hear the skies are clearer out there. We can tell ghost stories and maybe even catch a glimpse of a shooting star." Reluctantly, but swayed by her enthusiasm, her friends, Lucas, Sarah, and Leo, agreed. They gathered supplies and set out for an unmarked clearing deep within Eldridge Forest, armed with flashlights, sleeping bags, and a portable speaker. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the trees grew thicker, the air cooler, and the shadows lengthened, and with that, the atmosphere shifted to something more sinister. Emma found the perfect spot adjacent to a moody, glimmering brook, its calming burble masking the underlying unease creeping into her friends' minds. As dusk fell, shadows began to stretch long and the atmosphere morphed from playful excitement to something ominous. Over the crackling campfire, Emma recounted tales revered in whispers, tales of the Lurker, a ghastly creature said to roam the pines, its haunting howl echoing through the trees at night. "Legend has it, the Lurker was once human," she began, thrusting a stick into the fire for emphasis. "A boy who loved the forest so much he refused to leave it. One day, he was cursed by an old woman who sought revenge on his cruelty, transforming him into a monster that stalks those who venture into his woods. Legend says he can turn invisible, and his eyes glow in the dark, searching for lost souls." Emma's friends huddled closer, half laughing and half terrified, but as the moon rose higher, casting a silvery hue upon the forest floor, the atmosphere felt charged, pulsating with an uncanny energy. Their bravado had waned by the time embers glowed low. The darkness loomed oppressive, and the trees whispered secrets only the nocturnal could decipher. Leaving their campsite, Emma insisted on a short night hike to the old stone ruins rumored to be the last remnants of the village that once thrived here. "Come on, what's the worst that could happen?" she teased, pushing her fears aside. Reluctantly, her friends followed, their flashlights cutting sharp beams through the dense darkness. Venturing deeper into the woods, every rustle of leaves made their hearts race. As they neared the ruins, an unnatural chill swept through the air, and suddenly, the breeze felt like icy fingers brushing against their skins. "Guys, did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. There it was again, a guttural growl that seemed to come from all directions and none. They exchanged uncertain glances, and Lucas dared to turn off his flashlight. They strained their ears, and then, suddenly, a low, sorrowful howl echoed like a warning through the stillness of the night, more animal than man. A sound that curdled their blood. "Let's go back," Leo urged, anxiety spilling from every word. But the frightened group was paralyzed, entranced by an alluring glow that flickered through the trees ahead. Emma, ever the bravest, walked forward, compelled by something she didn't yet understand. "It's just a trick of the light." But as they approached, it became apparent that the glow was coming from two eyes, amber and wide, peering through the foliage, set in a face that was a haunting mix of human and beast. Before they could process the horror, a ghastly silhouette emerged, a monstrous figure shrouded in a thick shadow, with matted hair hanging over a twisted face. It stood on two legs, cloaked in the remnants of a long-lost spirit, and the scent of decay washed over them. "Run!" Emma finally shouted, her courage evaporating into raw instinct. As they bolted back toward the campsite, the howling grew louder, converging from every direction as if the forest itself turned against them. The trees seemed to reach out, their knotted branches like skeletal fingers clawing at their clothes. The Lurker chased them, laughter mingling with the cries of the night, reverberating in their bones. They sprinted in a frenzy, fear propelling them forward until they reached the campsite. They rushed into the safety of their tents, hearts hammering like a wild drumbeat in their chests. But the Lurker wasn't done. It loomed at the perimeter, a shadow in the moonlight, eyes burning with an insatiable hunger. "What do we do?" Lucas gasped, panic-stricken. Don't let it in, Emma urged, pressing her back against the zippered door. The creature snarled, a primal sound emerging from deep within, its presence darkening the air outside. In desperation, Emma recalled her mother's words about facing fears. We must confront it, she shouted. They had to break the curse. With sheer willpower, they unzipped their tents, standing firm as a wall of united front. We're not afraid of you, Emma cried, her voice quaking as she faced the darkness. Leave us be. For a tense moment that felt like a lifetime, the lurker paused, then produced a hair-raising scream that echoed through the forest. In that moment, the air crackled as the ache of lost memories surfaced. The eyes softened, revealed for the briefest instant to be filled with sorrow, the remnants of a boy trapped in a grotesque prison. And then, almost as quickly as it had appeared, the creature dissipated into the shadows, the haunting howl fading into an echo. Breathless silence engulfed the woods, the threat of the creature retreating into the dark. Emma and her friends stood rooted in place, still trembling but alive, grasping collectively at the weight of what they had witnessed. They zipped their tents shut and held each other close, minds reeling from the night they dared to challenge the folklore of Eldridge Forest. With dawn creeping over the horizon and the first light breaking through the dense trees, they emerged. The forest felt different now, a place heavy with untold tales yet to be whispered, and a grim understanding that sometimes, the myths were far more than just stories. As they packed up to leave, Emma whispered, maybe we shouldn't have called it out. The pines swayed with the wind, and for a fleeting moment, a low howl carried through the air, reminding them of the lurker who still roamed the shadows, forever seeking what was lost.